PD choir were singing, obviously Fight Talk, and the bells were ringing out for episode 93. This is Noel O'Keefe for obviously Fight Talk episode 93, and I am joined, as always, by the festive Robert Palin.
You have a beautiful singer voice.
Shane McGowan. What a man. This is, as I said, episode 93, brought to you proudly, might I add, by Fight Star Ireland, the fighter's choice. Everything you may need under two roofs. FeelSupreme.co.uk received 10% off, Rob. Don't give me that 20%. 20% is greedy.
It is greedy, yeah.
10% spot
Get in the Christmas spirit.
Go on the Feel Supreme website using the code FightTalk and you get that 10% off. And the MMA Mix, they're obviously good because they're with obviously Fight Talk. Go check them out. They do things slightly different. They share all our stuff, but have a look at the website. Great stuff. Today's show on episode 93, we are going to be talking later on to referee Daniel Movahedi in Referee's Corner. Dan had a bit of a weird one this week.
Yeah. He had to disqualify somebody.
Yeah, he did kill somebody for somebody was acting the bold boy in the cage.
He was
wasn't
pushing and shoving and calling names.
Dan called him out on it and got DQ'd. But we'll be talking to Dan later on to talk about that. We'll obviously have. We're not saying he's the best. We're just saying there's nobody, fucking nobody, better than Brendan Dorman. He's going to be looking ahead with us to UFC on Fox 26, Lawler versus Dos Anjos. We're going to be looking at the main card predominantly on that.
Yeah.
But cracking cards, some great fights. Mike Perry against Ponzinibbio, what a fight. Great fight. We'll be rounding up the weekend that was. We'll be talking a little bit about Bellator kickboxing, Bellator 190, UFC Fight Night, and I'll be just, because I missed it last week, I want to talk about Cage Legacy 5 and that knockout. But Rob, let's start it where we used to start it, and now we're starting to start it again. So now we could just say, let's start it where we always start it. This is obviously Fight Talk Quick-Fire News. 2 minutes on the clock. Let's go. It was announced last Friday that Georges St-Pierre had vacated the newly won UFC middleweight title. A few days after it was revealed that he would be out indefinitely due to, I can't say the word, colitis. The former welterweight king said he has vacated the title out of respect to the athletes of the sport, and so he wouldn't be holding up a division. Robert Whittaker is now being awarded the middleweight title and will defend it against the gorgeous Luke Rockhold at UFC 221. What's your thoughts on GSP and the matchup of Whittaker and Rockhold?
So, two things, obviously. GSP vacating the title. It makes sense. If he's going to be out for a long time, I like it, because how many times have we seen champions been out for so long? Dominic Cruz, for instance. It took how many times was it that Dominic Cruz came back, got injured, came back, got injured, came back, got injured, and not come back as in go back in the training camp, got injured, and then he had to vacate it eventually. So I think it's a good move from George. I think it is respectful. I know some people on the internet,
A little bit of a dig as well, do you think?
A dig in what way? As in
dig at Conor?
Not really. I don't think so.
They're holding up a division?
No, I don't think so. Like, it may be underlining, but I don't really think so. I think it's just GSP just saying what he thinks. On the Rockhold fight, I really like it. I'm pretty sure that's the one that we said makes most sense for Whittaker if he wasn't going to fight GSP. So I like the fight. It's a very good fight, and that's going to be in Melbourne, is it?
Yeah. Perth, I think.
Perth.
GSP, Dana White has to be, if he had hair, he'd be pulling it out, because the contract that was signed was that he has to defend the belt. So GSP has come back, won a title shot that many would argue he shouldn't have really got, because he's never fought at middleweight before, and then vacates it a couple of weeks later. Look, health is your wealth. Just because I can't pronounce this, colitis or whatever it's called.
Colitis.
Colitis. I know, I fucking had it. Your health is your wealth. So if he's bound away for that, well done. Hopefully he gets better and there's something that can be done with it. But it's a weird one that he's come back and gone. You know, obviously he must have been aware he had this illness when he came back.
They're saying that it might be weight cut related.
Okay.
Yeah.
Weight cutting, he's at middleweight. Normally fights at welter. Interesting. But or
gaining weight related.
Rockhold Whittaker is a good fight. Is Rockhold worthy of it?
Yeah, I know he had that loss, but I think the David Branch one is a good win. I know a lot of people don't know David Branch, and it was a little bit of a rocky start for him. No pun intended. It actually wasn't intended.
Weidman had a good win.
Yeah, true. Next up, we have our next UFC heavyweight title fight, and it's the one we all wanted. Champ Stipe Miocic versus Francis Ngannou has been officially booked for the upcoming UFC 220 pay-per-view on January 20th. What do you think of that fight?
It's a bit of a snooze fest, I think, really. It's an absolute cracker. as I make aware every time Francis Ngannou wins, that I pointed him out as the big breakthrough of 2017. I said he potentially could be champion by the end of the year.
Back there, will you?
So I'm off by 20 days here. Look, I think Stipe Miocic is actually going to bring a lot to this fight. I don't think it's going to. A lot of people, I was talking on lunch today with Carl, and I was saying, Francis Ngannou's destruction is just fresh in your mind.
Yeah.
So you got to look at what Stipe has done in his rise to the title, the finishes he's had, the fights he's had to get there. I'd be guilty of Stipe's performances aren't fresh in my mind as what Ngannou just done to over him. But I honestly think if Ngannou lands on any man or Hippo, that they're going to sleep.
Yeah.
Will Stipe be able to take Francis Ngannou into different waters, like threaten with takedowns, good footwork? Stipe, can he get in there, land shots? Ngannou was being sort of half wobbled, I think, in the Blades fight, wasn't it? Was it Blades? He got a bit of a hit.
Yeah.
So, it'll be interesting to see that. For me personally, ask me now, it's Francis Ngannou by destruction. But I just think the champ Miocic, again, because it's not fresh in the mind, I think this is a great fight, and it's something that, let's be honest, we all love MMA, but there's just something special about when the heavyweights strap on the 4-ounce gloves, and these are two absolute killers, and it just promises to be an absolute barn burner.
Yeah, we've seen Stipe being hit a couple of times and being hurt a couple of times. Even in his most recent fights, some of his title fights, he's been rocked. Yeah. So I think the immediate reaction is if Francis Ngannou hits him, it's over. And that's probably what happens. Yeah. That guy hits like nobody else. Yeah. But so does Stipe. Stipe hits very, very hard. And I do think Stipe has some things that Francis hasn't seen. Like, Overeem could, in theory, use his grappling game against Ngannou, but he doesn't really have that game where he can get it there. He doesn't have a wrestling game, really. He might have some clinch wrestling game, but he doesn't have a Stipe Miocic wrestling game. So it could be interesting, but who knows?
Well, Conor McGregor will be returning to fighting soon, possibly. In a recent interview, the UFC lightweight champion said, "I have every intention of fighting in 2018 if my compensation and business development endeavours accurately reflect my influence on combat sports." He specifically mentioned both MMA and boxing as options amidst the rumours that Manny Pacquiao has been in discussions for a fight with the Irishman. UFC President Dana White then told the media that it's not true. But if it was, he'd sue Manny and his representative for speaking to a contracted fighter. Any weight in that story with Manny, do you think?
Maybe. I know Bob Arum came out and said that there was discussions a while ago. I hope not, because I don't think really anyone really wants to see it. People again, it's one of them things where people will watch because, freak show and whatnot. But on McGregor coming back, I'm definitely on the board of he's definitely going to fight again. I know a lot of people are saying, he's made his money. He probably won't fight again.
Some might say he's been in a couple of fights, Rob, since we last seen him.
Some might say that, yeah, in a couple of bars and down the road. But yeah, I'm on the board of McGregor, on the side of McGregor coming back. Hopefully it's the MMA, Jesus, hopefully it's the MMA. I hope it's not boxing. But definitely the UFC need to make a deal with him. He says it there. He says it every time he's asked if he's going to come back. He says that he wants certain needs met, and we know that might be co-promotion.
He was saying, wasn't he, I'm looking forward to come back and fight for my company.
Yeah.
He was saying. Obviously, look, we're an MMA podcast. We cover boxing the odd time. I'm sure Brendan will probably want to talk about the stuff that went on at the weekend.
Yeah, but
it's like...
I want to see boxers boxing.
Yeah.
And mixed martial arts is mixed martial art.
For excellent. For me, my standout moment for Conor McGregor was, when you look at what Eddie Alvarez done against Justin Gaethje, that puts into perspective just how good Conor McGregor is as a mixed martial artist. So I want to see that mixed martial artist.
Exactly.
I don't want to see him box anymore. As much as the money's in it, I can understand why Conor McGregor will want to box because the money is ridiculous. But it's I don't want to see him play snooker either. Do you know what I mean? I don't want him and Terry Griffiths to have a game down the El Premier in Dunleary.
That reference went way over my head.
Terry Griffiths plays snooker. He's from Wales.
Nice.
But
decent.
I have no interest in watching him play snooker or whatever. I want to see Conor McGregor fight after what he done to Eddie Alvarez and what Eddie Alvarez has now done to Justin Gaethje. What a performance. And that just emphasises for me how good Conor McGregor is. So let's get him in there.
And he's not lacking options either. If the UFC, the UFC don't really need to promote Conor McGregor at this point. He's just promotes himself. But Tony Ferguson's a great fight.
Tony Ferguson, March, get it on.
What's me? Mark Hunt is free to resume his UFC career. After full medical analysis, this is a quote, at the Lou Ruvo Center for Brain Health in Las Vegas, UFC confirms that the heavyweight athlete Mark Hunt has been cleared to compete. A statement provided exclusively to MMAfighting.com.
Yeah, look, in some ways, Mark Hunt has got himself to blame for this.
Yeah, like
Mark Hunt came out with
the
statement of we can't speak, I'm forgetful.
And he said he was misquoted on something he provided, which is weird.
Yeah, so like, you know, Hunt sort of got himself to blame for that. It'd be like somebody saying, you know, Jesus, I'm locked, I've had enough to drink, I can barely stand.
Yeah.
You go, no more drink.
Yeah.
And then he goes, actually, you're grand. And you go, all right, fair enough.
Yeah.
But like, you know, Hunt had sort of said what he'd said. So, you know, the UFC, it was, in a way, it was good to show they have a bit of responsibility.
Yeah.
And now you could argue Bisping fought and saying, you have to be. But,
it's grey. It's a grey area.
But, Hunt sort of drove himself down that path, like, you know what I mean? And you're not meant to drive on path, you're meant to cycle or walk on path. So, like, no, but Hunt definitely 100% put himself a little bit in that. Doesn't help that he also has a legal case against the UFC for the Brock Lesnar fight. But, at the same time, it's good to see Hunt is being cleared, but, you know, you do sort of have yourself to blame for that, Mark.
Yeah, like, when this came out and everyone was like, the UFC are picking on Hunt because of this, that, and the other, the whole legal thing. You know, he said what he said.
Yeah.
What, are they going to ignore that?
Yeah,
you know, unfortunately, they were put in a bad position, I think, because they weren't going to come out very good after what they did, pulling them from a. But like when you look at it in the big picture, he comes out and he says that he's forgetting things. Imagine they put him in the fight there and he got hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
Like what would people be saying? You know,
yeah.
So they were in a bad position. But I was completely on the side of the UFC kind of had to do something, and they done that. I'm glad that he's cleared because. You know, you'd hate for a guy who he said he was cleared by some other doctors, but you'd hate for a guy to be put out there against his own will, especially if he's okay. Apparently he's okay. You know, let him fight. Let's see what happens.
I'm glad though it was a UFC doctor as well because it's like if you're on the social welfare, right, and you're claiming sickness, and you go to your doctor, the doctor go, there's an owl cert. He doesn't give a shit. There's an owl cert. So you're off work claiming the old sick pay. And then you go to the bleeding socials doctor and he's after you. He'll have you doing jumping stars, he'll have you shoveling coal, he'll have you doing everything to make sure you're alright. So, what I'm saying in a really weird way is that the UFC doctor's not going to pass him willy-nilly knowing what was being said, but you sort of have yourself to blame there, Mark.
Get what you mean.
Joanna Jacek has cut ties with her nutrition team, perfecting athletes, and blames the poor weight cut on her defeat to UFC strawweight champion Rose Namajunas at UFC 2000 and the 2000 UFC 20. Jeez, I can't speak. 217. She said, "Quote: The mistakes they made were unforgivable. I can't work with those kinds of people." Now, as well, Rob. There was a video of Joanna cutting weight a couple of years ago, and it's like horrendous. Like
it's terrible.
And she started being quoted saying, "I don't care what I have to do to get the weight. I'll get in the hottest water needed. I'll do whatever." But like, is it a weight cut that was to blame for Joanna getting lit up like a Christmas
I don't like from what we've seen. It didn't look like a weight cut thing. Maybe the weight cut can affect senses. Well, it can. You know, a bad weight cut can affect senses and stuff like that. But it did look like skill. That looked like a bit of a skill gap. But, you know, if she doesn't think that the weight cut went well, what's kind of weird though is I remember watching like UFC Embedded and she always used to say, perfecting athletes are great, for her last couple of camps. So it's a little bit weird that she's coming out now and saying that, no, they're terrible and the weight cut was awful.
Well, look, isn't it easy to, you know, when things are going right and you're winning, it's easy to do whatever. And I think a little bit here, I'm a little bit disappointed in a way. I thought Joanna was a real... the word I want to like she's not
loyal.
She seems to be coming out with loads of mistakes or, you know, excuses for the defeat. You just put your hands up and say, look, Rose was the better fighter on the night, congratulations, get your rematch and get your title back. They're coming out and saying it's because I didn't tap. You did tap.
Yeah, I think
there's no reason to make an excuse to say you didn't tap.
Yeah,
like, you tap, fight another day, I have no problem with that. But don't say you didn't tap when you tapped. I'm doing a tap thing here again, Rob. But then, you know, the weight cut, it's just like every fighter comes into a fight injured, has to cut weight, go through, you know, hard times. But not every fighter comes out and uses it as an excuse. And for me, a little bit, Joanna needs to just stop making excuses. You were beaten. Rose absolutely lit you up that night.
There's a little bit of a Ronda Rousey about Joanne sometimes. you know, she's a really sore loser, and sometimes that's not a bad thing. Like a lot of these guys and girls are really sore losers, but I think she could have approached it better. If she just come out and said the weight cut was terrible, maybe it impacted my performance, I don't know, but I don't want to do that again. You know, move on. I think that would have been a better way.
100%.
Yeah.
We're going to move along and we're going to look back at the weekend that was. It was UFC Fight Night 1, 2, 3 and Bellator 190 went down as well in Italia. So let's round up the weekend.
Let's round it up.
So welcome back to obviously Fight Talk. This is your weekend roundup. But before we do this weekend's roundup, I want to talk about something from last weekend that I covered. It was Cage Legacy 5. I was on duty, and it was the main event was Adam Gustaf taking on Decky McAleenan in a pro bout here. We were meant to talk about this last week, Rob, but time got away from us. So
as it usually does.
And we said we got to come back to it this week. So Rob's going to play. This is just the finish of the fight. This is in round 2 after a very competitive first round where Adam Gustaf was sort of in this position for the whole first round, but it was Decky McAleenan throwing up submission attempts. And just hit play, I suppose. Let it play there.
You might recognise the voice.
A couple of good shots from the top here, right in front of us. Stab is content to staying in half guard and just land some shots from here. A lot of fighters done that through the years as well. They like it. They control their opponent from half guard in all position. And Johnny Shields is not wasting any time here.
Look at the internet.
The classic internet stuff.
Johnny Shields wants to see some stand-up action. Gets them back up.
Oh.
With a flying knee, and he's just knocked out Adam Gustaf. Moody has gone wild. A beautiful flying knee by Decky McAleenan. Gustaf took it on the chin and Lena followed up with a few shots to finish it off. A highlight reel knockout by Decky McAleenan.
There you go, a highlight reel knockout by Decky McAleenan. Stunning finish to the main event, and I have to say, I said it to Decky, Deck Kenneth when it was over. I said each show was getting better. Deck, they just seem to be stepping up all the time. And that pro contest, as you're seeing, the finish there was absolutely
beautiful.
The referee, some people were saying the ref stood it up a bit quick. That Gustaf was working.
Stood it up, yeah.
But
possibly, but
I have to say the setup, the way,
it led to some madness.
It was quite funny. I was talking to Decky in the cage just after, and he was saying that he'd posted on social media, I'm sure on WhatsApp, on his gym WhatsApp page, that he's going to finish the fight by flying knee.
Really?
And he then posted
Do we have evidence?
He posted that up on Facebook then, showing it and saying practice makes perfect or something. But an incredible finish by Decky. Decky's one of the hot prospects in Ireland as well, former foe obviously of James Gallagher as well.
Yeah, he ran into Gallagher, but no shame in that.
Yeah, Decky, Jesus, great finish. You feel for Adam, because Adam had the first round was mad. It was Adam was on top, but from speaking to the judges, I believe allegedly that all the judges had scored the first round to Decky McAleenan on the bottom. Switches.
Where did this show tape? I'm joking.
Yeah, no, it's quite interesting though. You know that. Cause now, in fairness, I had said it in commentary. If you want to go and watch the full fight, I'd definitely recommend it. It was a great fight. It's on Fight Star Media on YouTube. But I was saying, interesting to see. You don't get to see too many fights scored from the bottom. Yeah. But yeah, it was a great fight, and again, the highlight finish was absolutely spectacular. But moving it to this weekend, Rob, a couple of events went down this weekend. I want to start first with Bellator kickboxing. Kickboxing went down this weekend in Italy. They obviously do the share. I don't know, did they do the whole cage coming down thing?
I didn't see it.
Not too sure, because I know the ring, there was a picture of John Wayne Parr kneeling outside the ring, and you could see that it was it was still in the shape of the cage, and the ring was just on the interior, so I'm sure they brought the cage on. But yeah, speaking of John Wayne Parr earned his 99th victory on Saturday, was it? I think it was Saturday night.
Former guest of the show.
TKO in round 3 of a guy who was 17 years his younger.
It's crazy, isn't it? What he's still doing at this age.
Pacquiao, yeah. And
what an absolute legend.
You said this, Rob, just as we were coming on to this. Joe Schilling won as well. Decision. But Raymond Daniels won as well, decision. You were like going, oh my God, the names on this card.
And nobody cared about it. Really, nobody cared about it. There was actually Glory was on as well. Rico Verhoeven won by knockout as well. Fucking beautiful finish as well. A lot of kickboxing.
The great thing about Glory is it's all on
Fight Pass,
UFC
so it's
Fight Pass.
it's easy to get. Whereas Bellator kickboxing, this was on some kind of tape delay. I'm not even sure where the kickboxing was shown. So
it's weird that they don't show the kickboxing actually, because like the line up there. But like
I'm sure it was shown, but it's not easy accessible over here anyway.
John Wayne Parr, what a man! What an absolute legend! Like he's 99 victory. Like that's.
Go watch our interview with John Wayne Parr. That was one of my favourites. That was deadly.
John Wayne Parr, the smiling bloody gun killer slinger. Oh Jesus, man's an animal. Moving on then to the actual Bellator 190 card.
The MMA.
Former guest Luka Jilic was on the end, unfortunately, of a knockout finish by Brandon Gritz in round 1, minute and 57 seconds into round 1. Now, there's been a little bit of... Did you see the fight, Rob?
Yes.
What did you think of Gritz's shot to Luka? It sort of looked like it potentially was behind the ear.
Yeah.
Potentially back of the head.
Yeah, it was.
Knocked the equilibrium out of Luka.
Yeah, it was. It's an unfortunate loss. Appealing it probably is not going to work because we've seen it loads of times. Just doesn't happen. No, it doesn't really change. It was a tough loss from Brandon Gritz is a good fighter, so it was always going to be a tough test. Definitely hit him in the back of the head. I don't know if you can argue it was one of those ones where he kind of dropped and he kind of threw a punch and it was kind of similar times. Maybe
a looping punch.
Yeah,
a looping punch, but it was like an uppercut as Luka was sort of bent over. He caught him with a huge uppercut. That really
it was devastating.
Off. Yeah, but like Luka is like when we had Luka on, I was saying to Rob, like this guy is a serious savage. Like, and I hope Bellator give him more opportunity rather than just the one and done. Luka's an absolute killer, and hopefully we get to see him back in there. Main event didn't last long, 44 seconds to be precise, Rob.
Yeah, broke Italian hearts in Italy. Carvalho, I don't think that was ever going to be anything but an exhibition for Carvalho, and that's taking nothing against Sakari. Sakari is a veteran, but getting a title shot at this stage of his career was a bit, you could say farce, but
selling tickets.
I think it was.
How dare you, Robert? How dare you?
It was a nice knockout, but what else was going to happen really?
Well, he really stumbled him quick, didn't he?
It was, and I'm sure not the best result for Bellator in Italy. I'm sure they would like a competitive fight for the Italian guy, but I don't think anyone else was expecting a win for Sakara. I wasn't even expecting something that competitive. It was kind of one-way traffic, unfortunately, for Alessio Sakara.
Again, it's something that like Bellator, what they need to do here is that they keep putting it all on tape delay. Yeah. And like, I'm sorry, I seen that knockout before.
I'm pretty sure they released the highlights before they showed it. I'm nearly sure.
They do the same when they come to Ireland here, and like,
I understand for the time zones. I don't understand why, but it's just I don't know.
I don't know.
I just wish, being selfish, I wish we could watch it live.
And they now are gone their way to Newcastle. This weekend, Michael McDonald makes his debut for the promotion.
It's getting no coverage, is it?
Yeah.
Well, again, and we're not going to cover it either.
No, that's enough said about it. Yeah. No, but it's. And
I like Michael McDonald.
Yeah, it's on this weekend. They're sharing again with Bama, aren't they?
I think they are. Yeah, it's on the Bama card, I think.
But this is like Bellator. They have the potential there to have fights. You know what I mean? That. You're going to watch them, you know what I mean? If they're on, me and you stayed up and we watched it on that OSNP or whatever it's called.
If they really, I know they've tried and they failed because of an injury, but if they really push James Gallagher, he could be a huge star over here. And he already is a big star over here. Yeah. But get behind him, bring a lot of shows over here when you can. Yeah. And even Brian Moore had a great performance there in his last one. There's a lot of guys there that had good performances.
If Bellator are coming over, right? But Bama have signed a deal with ITV, UTV, depending on what side of the board you are.
Yeah. I wonder if that's going to be aired.
I think it's live, isn't it, on UTV?
Yes.
ITV?
But it's probably going to be one of them ones where they show...
Is it UTV or is it ITV?
ITV. It would be UTV.
It used to be UTV.
UTV for...
Remember the little fat fella that always wore the pink shirt and all? Little fat fella. Hey, you there now. This is... And he'd say... Bernie is on town this week. Yeah. That's on UTV, and it was...
That guy was a legend.
Yeah, it was everywhere. Yeah. But that was called UTV.
Yeah, but no. UTV is Ulster Television, right? And that's the Irish. Ulster
also,
version.
Apologies to all our fans of Northern Ireland for that terrible impression of a Northern Irish.
That's like the Northern Irish version of ITV, right? I'm pretty sure.
Okay. But that's going to be
talk about some MMA. Yes. I'd
So
say they're
why
going to show.
can't Bellator go, oh, by the way,
We're on too.
we're also on that
Yeah,
night,
yeah.
so...
We have a former UFC guy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Bit weird. UFC Fight Night 1, 2, 3 went down.
That's easy, isn't it?
We broke it. It's as easy as ABC, Rob. Just like the Jacksons.
Yeah.
Don't talk about the Jacksons. Jesus, that'll take a turn. Aljamain Sterling wasn't a good weekend for former guests of the show. Suffered a devastating knockout. Switch kick, torn knee. Marlon Moraes, my God.
For me, it looked like he was going for a body kick. It looked like it was a switch kick to the body, and Aljamain went in with a sloppy-ish kind of... to me, again, who knows what he was going for, but it looked like he was trying to pick for a single leg, and he walked right into it. Beautiful by Marlon Moraes, not taking anything away from him. That's the problem, though, when you have guys...
Moraes looked explosive, though.
He
had Aljamain hurt.
Yeah, I remember you asked Aljamain who had the advantage of the guy being in there 3 weeks ago versus the guy that hasn't been in there. And maybe Marlon had the advantage there because he looked straight away from the get-go, he looked loose. And when he hit Aljamain was backing up. But that's the problem when guys don't set up their takedowns with strikes. He went in for that single leg very far out, and it was just red and it was beautiful. Again, that was a devastating knockout. That's a bad one.
You look now at Marlon Moraes. He came in.
Yep.
He got beaten by Rafael Assunção, and now all of a sudden in the space, it's almost like the reversal of what happened with Michael Bisping.
Yeah.
He's gone from to all of a sudden beating two studs, and he's in the he's in the top 5 talk now, clearly.
He came in with a huge reputation. Like when he was coming into UFC, you even said it. You were saying, "Oh, this is the guy that Rob always talks about." Yeah. And he came in. He didn't really show. I don't think he really showed it at the beginning. But you've seen that a lot. That happens quite a bit in the UFC. So you can't really judge a guy on his first couple of UFC fights.
100%.
He could be on a streak.
Schaub is on the Fighter and the Kid this week, going, "Oh man, I've been talking about Marlon Moraes for years," just like you were with Darren Till. Please, Schaub. Please. Co-main event, another former guest, unfortunately, ended up on the
fight talk effect.
Don't come on this show.
Don't say that.
No, it's actually been. We normally have a good week.
But
Jason Knight was on the end of a unanimous decision to Gabriel Benitez. And I gotta say, I said it to you this morning, Rob. Yeah. Just something just didn't look right with Jason Knight. He looked like he was like. First couple of exchanges, he looked like he landed half decent big on Benitez, and after that he just went head hunting. But to me, he looked
flat.
He looked like a guy that they'd already been fighting and he'd lost the first couple of rounds and he was chasing the victory.
Yeah,
and he was real demoralised in his corner after every time he'd do something and it wouldn't come off. You could really see him going and really getting angry at himself. Yeah. He looked like he was trying to wind himself.
Frustrated. Yeah, he was visibly frustrated.
Get himself up.
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
he didn't look healthy. He looked
he didn't look healthy. He looked like he had a bad weight cut.
Yeah,
looked like a really bad weight cut.
I'd be interested to see if that comes out.
I also seen that he was wearing both ankles taped up and his knees taped up. Was there an injury? Maybe. I don't think he usually wears those. Yeah. That could be just me not remembering.
Felder was saying though in commentary that he was saying that he was talking to him beforehand and he was saying, if things aren't going well on the feet, I have a huge advantage on the ground, so I'm just going to take him down. He's like, maybe he's wearing the knee sleeves and stuff just to, because he's going to do a lot of wrestling.
Possibly. But that didn't work out either. And even his takedowns, he was going for takedowns. He was looking for the body lock takedown. He wasn't getting control of Benitez's body.
At one stage, Benitez was just flinging him to a side. And again, Felder in commentary said he's embarrassing him in the cage here.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, that was a big surprise for me.
Benitez kept calling him on. Go, no, let's go.
Yeah, I said it to you. Benitez's performance reminded me a little bit of like a Kelvin Gastelum performance, just in the sense of his boxing looked really good and he was always on his toes. He was landing good shots. Jason Knight couldn't hit him. Jason Knight was trying to land the one big shot where Benitez was landing good, solid shots. And shots that hurt Jason, not just like point fighting.
Well, you see, I think if you break it down to technique, I think Benitez was more technical while Knight was trying to brawl.
But he was also chasing.
Because he wasn't cutting the cage off. He wasn't using footwork.
Yeah, that southpaw stance was killing him.
Everything he was throwing, you could see coming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You could see his takedowns coming. You could see his big winging shots coming.
He was also pushing them punches. He wasn't really letting them go. He was like it was proper pushing them.
It's mad to come away from like his performance over Alex Caceres and Chaz Skelly. Yeah. And now, Ricardo Lamas and Benitez, two on the
How dare you say Chaz Skelly without using
Chaz Skelly. But... like we're big fans here of Jason Knight.
Yeah.
So
The bite though.
yeah, what the hell do you accidentally bite someone?
Yeah.
I suppose you have to ask Gamera.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was weird because straight away he's like, yeah, I bit him. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know what the hell happened there. Like, I said it coming in.
Because at first, when I seen it first, I thought that Benitez injured his fingers and started
Yeah.
grappling
That's
check.
what Paul
And then
Felder said.
And then the ref was stopping it. I'm going, he can't stop it for an injury.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck is he going to? And then he's like, he bit me. And I was like,
Yeah. Oh shit.
oh shit.
Yeah. It was weird. Unless he went for the was the guillotine, right? He was going for a guillotine.
Yeah.
And he obviously had the grip in. Unless he went in and his fingers just went in, and you know, when you're in the heat of the moment, maybe he didn't even notice. I don't think so. I think it was a bite.
Yeah.
But you know, all I will say is it wasn't like the Gamrot where he was like, oh, I didn't bite him. It was he immediately said sorry. So I don't know. Weird. I don't know. I don't get it. He was completely off in that fight.
But yeah, Benitez.
But yeah, it shouldn't be all about
Benitez.
a bad performance by Knight. It should be good performance by Benitez.
But that was
No, yeah, that was part of the game plan. You don't get into a brawl.
But what I liked about it was, right, he just kept going into the centre and going, no, let's go into the centre again. Now come on. And you could tell that was aggravating the shit out of Jason Knight, and he really wanted to like just take his head off. But because he was doing that, he was getting emotional and he was overshooting with everything with his combat. He wasn't even throwing combinations. He was getting wild. He was a wild man in there, and when you're wild against someone who's being technical will beat wild.
Yep.
Just like precision.
It's very precise.
Very precise. I'll come on that in a minute. And we all picked Brian Ortega in the main event of the evening. Beat Cub Swanson by guillotine choke. Round 2, just for the people listening, 3 minutes and 22 seconds of round number 2. For me, Rob, we were talking about this walking into work this morning. I thought Cub Swanson looked fantastic in the first round. All for 4 minutes and 50 seconds until Ortega got tied up to Darce and looked like it was going to be there. But I thought Cub Swanson's striking. He was mixing it up. Beautiful. Changing the levels from putting the leg kicks in, going high with his hands, mixing to the body. And I was going, ooh. Like the later rounds, this work is really going to pay dividends here for Cub Swanson. But the thing with Brian Ortega, man, is the way he tied up that guillotine. Like he just... as he got him up against the cage, right? He had him up against the cage, and I'm like, Jesus, Ortega really let Swanson get the underhooks here.
Yeah.
But when you look at how that was all again, because he's the underhooks in, leaves the neck open, and he climbed up and just because I was there going, Jesus, look, Ortega for such a dominant grappler, like he gave up to him underhooks.
He doesn't care about
simple
because he doesn't care. Like the underhooks, generally on the feet in the clinch, the underhooks is to get control of the guy and maybe look for a takedown.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about that.
So he climbed up, got it, pulled it down, and he was sitting into him where all his weight was pulling on Cub's neck.
Ugh.
Wasn't happy with it. Let go of it, went under and readjusted, and then sat back into it again. And Cub Swanson, his comment about it was, I thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
The choke was that tight.
Yeah.
But, man, I said it last week on the show. I honestly think that Brian Ortega is Max Holloway's #1 contender.
Yeah.
Down the line. Because we were looking down going, what's next for Max Holloway? And I'm going, I honestly think the guy that gives Max Holloway a real test is Ortega. And, like, his striking, it's like Cub was lighting him up. Like, well... He was lighting them up. I was so impressed with Cub Swanson in the first 4.5 minutes of the opening round.
Yeah, very impressive.
His striking looked incredible.
I say he's very frustrated about getting caught with that.
The variation of it. But my point that I'm getting to is Ortega, as much as he was getting hit, he was never in trouble.
Yeah.
Like he was never.
He was walking through the shots.
Never going, Jesus, Cub's going to get the finish here.
Yeah.
And like to me, his striking was good enough. At times he was using his reach really well. He had a lovely jab, lovely crisp jab. So I'm thinking, in my head, Holloway, Ortega. I'm thinking another way, Max fights and whatever. And if Ortega can close that distance and get into what he done to Cub, who's going to stop him? To me, he's a... You actually said this, so I should allow you to say it. Your Damian Maia reference that you said this morning. But that's what he is. He's like a lighter version of Damian Maia, but he's a better in...
I think he's way more way rounded. He's not really... Like, he's a specialist. He still is a specialist. Like... His stand-up is getting way better. Like, since he's came to the UFC, his stand-up is so much better now. And he's working behind a jab. That working behind that jab was just beautiful. And it was landing very well. And it was also making Cub Swanson think. But it's just that grappling is just such an X factor. It's ridiculous. Like, talk about the setup for the guillotine, but the setup for the dart choke was beautiful. Yeah. And it's so simple. I was watching Luke Thomas's breakdown after, and that's one thing he was talking about. He's saying, yeah, the adjustment on the guillotine was beautiful, but just the setup, which is so simple. All he done was put his arm over. Yeah. And that's difficult. Like, that's easy to do, but it's difficult to do against a good guy. He must have a serious grip, and he must just know how to sink it in. I think Luke was saying there's a way of putting the key into the notch or whatever, you know, like he can just immediately do that.
There's some people that can plug a USB in first time, and then there's people that they always have to try twice.
Or if you have a USB Type C, he's the USB Type C of submissions. It's double sided, like you don't need to. Yeah, so I can go in any side. He's a USB Type C.
We'll edit that so I know that. That's actually really good analogy.
Yeah. But the setup for the dart choke was beautiful because he went for the wrap. And he had the control of the arm, went under, he got like ball and socket, and then he got the gable grip, and then pulled it to the ground, went for it. The only reason he didn't finish that was one time, and also he couldn't really get a hold of Cub's body, so he couldn't get the full extension on it. If he got a hold of Cub's body, he probably would have finished it there, and you could see Cub's face.
Cub was grimacing.
Yeah, because there was even a moment where they were in kind of north-south, both on their back, and he was squeezing, and Cub was grimacing. That shows you how bad of a choke that guy has.
What's next?
Or good of a choke.
Cub Swanson out of contract now.
I hope he resigns.
Dana White is saying, we want to resign, but we know Cub wants to be happy, so I take with that what you want with Dana White. But yeah, I think he's got it. He's top, like, it's tough for Cub though, isn't it? Like he's being the bridesmaid, a fair bit, like.
Yeah, he could go to Bellator. I'm sure they'd give him a good deal, and there's a lot of good featherweights there. Like imagine like James Gallagher versus Cub Swanson, like three or four fights down the road. That's a great fight. He needs time, but I don't know. I hope he re-signs with the UFC because there's plenty of good fights at featherweight for him. But it is a tough one because anytime he gets to a certain level, he falls, and I don't see him getting a title shot anytime soon. But I hope he gets a good deal. I really do, because that wasn't a bad performance, No,
it certainly wasn't a bad performance, but it's just it's sort of hard to.
It's hard to see where he goes. Where does Ortega go from here?
Again, who was I can't remember who I was talking to. I was talking to somebody, and I'm basically saying, like, when you look at it realistically above him, right? I'm trying to just get the rankings here. Let me have a look. Worldwide rankings. If you think, right, you've
never thought I'd say this, but talking to the mic.
Sorry, you have Max Holloway is top of the featherweights, right?
Yes.
And realistically, then underneath Max, Jose's still down as 2. He's not, right, but Ortega is number 6, so he just beat number 5.
Yeah.
So ahead of that is Ricardo Lamas, who fights this weekend. Frankie Edgar, Frankie is probably going to get the next shot at Max.
He should.
So this actually leaves Ortega in a difficult.
How much
position.
Aldo?
Aldo, yeah. But sure.
Yeah, but what's say top 5 was?
It's Cub Swanson, who we just beat.
Yeah.
Ricardo Lamas and Frankie Edgar, and then Aldo's number 2.
Okay.
The Korean Zombie is number 7.
Why not Jose Aldo for Brian Ortega next? If Jose Aldo wants to continue to fight at featherweight, I know he's off a loss, but it's off a title shot loss. I know it's 2 losses. They're off 2 title shot losses, and it's a real litmus test.
What's
for
the Zombie? How long is the Zombie out for?
He said he's back in 2018 at some point.
Well, that's a 12-month expectation.
I know,
a sprawl of time.
Yeah,
like, because realistically, that could be a fight to hold. It sounds weird to say to hold. It sounds disrespectful to the Korean Zombie, but
it's a great matchup.
But
it is a good call.
Like, Frankie's probably going to get Holloway.
He should,
because the fight was going to happen, and then what happened, right? But if you look above that, then like he's just beat Cub, unless he fights the winner of Ricardo Lamas.
Yeah, I think the winner of Ricardo Lamas makes sense. I do think Jose Aldo makes sense in a way. It's a former champ. It doesn't matter if he's coming off losses.
I think Aldo's done.
He might be done, but I'm saying if he's not done, he wants to continue to fight at featherweight. I think that's a great fight. Or Korean Zombie if he gets back in a decent amount of time. But Brian Ortega's a super nice guy, isn't he, with the whole charity thing and all?
Yeah.
Fair play to him.
Yeah. Sound.
Yeah.
But no, do you know what it is? I'm thinking Aldo, right? I was trying to think of it. Like, Max Holloway has beat the brakes off Jose twice.
Yeah.
So, what would make you go to work knowing that that's the guy that's the top of your job? Do you know what I mean?
Cash money. Well, you don't go to work for money.
No.
You go to work to beat the big guy.
I'm secretly
CEO.
I'm secretly a millionaire and just do my job out of passion.
Yeah.
100% there. It's your weekend roundup. It was that's MMA weekend roundup. You want to talk a little bit about the boxing? I didn't watch the boxing because I'm a casual fan, and I thought it was going to be horse shit.
I think we're going to talk to Brendan a little bit about it because I know he wants to talk about it. But I thought it was an amazing performance by Lomachenko. I thought it was a very poor performance by Rigondeaux, and it was kind of disappointing in certain ways.
What's the reason he's saying he quit on the still for?
He said he broke his hand, or he hurt his hand.
So I seen a stat that he only landed 3 punches in a round or something.
Yeah, like the most punches he landed in a round was 3.
How do you hurt your hand? Well, maybe one of them
One
3
of them,
shots.
yeah,
What ounce glove were they wearing? Were they wearing the 10 8?
Yeah, well, they're small, so 8 ounce.
Was he just outclassed and he knew he was getting beat up and he didn't want to come out again?
For me and for the
I didn't watch the
commentators,
fight,
yeah, for me and for the commentators, that's what it looked like. It looked like a guy who was just getting beat up and didn't want to stay in there.
What's next for Lomachenko?
Who knows? He's
Conor
incredible.
McGregor?
Yeah, Conor. He's unbelievable. Like, he's unbelievable to watch. Like, probably one of the most exciting guys to watch, and probably one of the best pound for pound fighters, if not the best, just in any sport right now, any combat sport. He's incredible. He's absolutely incredible. Like, Rigondeaux is a 2-time Olympic champion, and he's like 19-0. Well, 19-1 now.
Their combined.
Yeah, it's like
boxing
800
record
and
is
fucking
just
something
absolutely
silly. Like,
way.
but Rigondeaux is getting older. He was moving up 2 weight classes. Definitely looked smaller in there, but he didn't do anything. He was a defensive shell for the whole thing. Like, Lomachenko, they showed a moment in the back where Lomachenko was like, "This guy's gonna try to clinch me, and this is what I'm gonna do to get out." He said to the referee. And in the first round, it happened, and he was basically just using like a headbutt to get out. He was like fucking, not headbutt, but like, pressing in and pulling his thing out. And that's really all Rigondeaux done. He was clinching, he was going down into a defensive posture down here, and Lomachenko was just landing shots. It was on ESPN, so I assume I watched it after the fact. So I don't know.
Oh, you illegally streamed it?
No, I watched it. Well, actually, I did, yeah. But yeah, it was kind of
big
disappointing.
fans of illegal streaming here now.
It was kind of disappointing because I think everyone expected a better fight.
Yeah.
I think even the guys who were picking Lomachenko to win and win, impressively, I think we wanted to see more from Rigo.
And of course, the obviously fight talk effect was in full flow.
Yes.
Mick Conlon.
Conlon.
First time going to decision though.
Yeah, I didn't see that one because I couldn't find an illegal stream of it, unfortunately. But yeah, by all accounts, based on all the reports I've seen, it was another great performance, and he just outclassed the guy.
Super.
But congratulations, because big fan of that guy.
And come back on the obviously fight.
Come back, yeah. It was actually supposed to happen very recently, but it was supposed to happen on fight week, and fight week.
Yeah, things happen. Weigh-ins, busyness, press, not including obviously fight talk. It happens. So yeah, let's get Brendan Dorman on.
Let's get Brendan Dorman on.
He's gonna come on. He's gonna say some bravado things. He'll probably say leg kicks or something to me. But let's get him on. Is he wearing a Khabib t-shirt?
Yeah, predict the t-shirt.
Is he wearing a Khabib t-shirt?
I'm going to say no. He's wearing a GSP t-shirt for the week that's in it, with GSP relinquishing the belt.
Is he in his shaker? Is he drinking a protein shake, or is it going to be a clear water shake today?
Protein shake.
Will he do the Usain Bolt
right
hello, or will he just do the Brendan Dorman?
I'm going to go with the second.
Cheeky grin.
Cheeky grin.
Not saying he's the best, folks.
That's it. Dick.
Just saying there's nobody better. Welcome back to obviously Fight Talk, and if you're watching on YouTube, you can see, and if you're listening on audio, I'm going to tell you, we're not saying he's the best. We're just saying there's nobody better. Brendan Dorman, welcome back to obviously Fight Talk.
Renzo Gracie for life. What up, fellas?
What's up, man?
What up?
Chilling.
So anyone who said a Renzo Gracie t-shirt is correct. We just said before we came on air with you, Brandon, what t-shirt will you be wearing? Brandon, a couple of fights going down this weekend. Before we get that, there's a little bit of news this week too on two things. I know you want to talk about the boxing, but I want to hit you in your man crush. GSP has vacated his title. What do you think about that?
That was a nice little groin shot there. No. I think that he was carrying way too much weight at 185. And if you listen to smart people in the business rather than the dummies, I think you normally do, Danaher explained it in great detail what was going on during camp, where George almost had to pull out with a gastrointestinal thing. That colitis, I looked into it a little bit. It's way more serious than I knew. So he's going to go back down in weight and probably get back his 170-pound strap, and then if a certain Irishman decides he wants to still play MMA, he'll get smashed too.
Well, when do you expect him to be back yourself?
6 months, probably.
6 months. Cool. Looking forward to
Do you
that.
think it's a good thing?
I could find out. I mean, I'll look into it.
Look into that, man.
Do you think it's a
Give us
good
an
thing
exclusive.
though that he's vacated the belt? It's his own words. We covered this in the news earlier, and he said,
Yeah.
"You know, I don't want to hold up the division."
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah.
Because it sounded like it was a little bit of a dig, maybe, at Conor.
Yep. Anything else? Who do you think's going to win that one? No. Who do you think will win that fight?
The mystical fight of Georges St-Pierre and Conor McGregor.
It's not that mystical, yeah.
Mystical.
I'll save that
Say
for
mythical or mystical?
Mystical.
mystical. I will leave that for
I
obviously
figure they're
Fight
one and the
Talk
same.
episode
in the Emerald.
143.
Imagine it was actually Dan.
Yeah.
That'd be unbelievable.
Yeah, Mystic Noel. Yeah, look, obviously you're going to say Georges St-Pierre because you're basically...
You're gonna say, and you're obviously going to say Conor. Tell me how he wins.
I'm not obviously going to say Conor. You're jumping to presumption.
Well, go ahead. The floor is yours, Senator.
I feel that Georges St-Pierre has a style that wouldn't suit Conor McGregor, and I feel that he would absolutely destroy him. Would break him down, take him down when he wants, how he wants, and hold him down for as long as he wants. So yeah,
I could knock him out like he did Bisping and then submit him.
Yeah, he put. I think it's. In fact, I think it's submit. I think it's submit him.
I think it's...
No, hold on. Let's clear something up, right? Conor is
the mic is
Irish. Conor's Irish, and we support our own. But I'm not a fanboy of Conor McGregor. If I think someone will beat Conor McGregor, I will say it.
Khabib?
Khabib absolutely gets knocked out in the first round. No, Khabib, same thing. Like if Khabib tries to stand with Conor and sort of tries to have that bravado with Conor, Conor could clock him. But if Khabib turns it into a Khabib fight, he absolutely destroys him.
Khabib's never stumbled.
Ah, well, that's... no.
Don't.
Let's not speak untruths. If we're going to be truthful, Johnson rocked him.
Michael Johnson? Oh, you didn't watch my video on that where I dissected it.
No, we rocked him.
Sometimes you have to watch fights, and we all know I love Joe. Joe, you probably watched some of these. Love you. You're my man. Anyway, Rogan sometimes gets a little excited and said, he's rocked, he's hurt on his feet.
No,
he got hit, and he pressed forward and threw a jab immediately. He was never hurt. What I'm saying is he got hit clean, and then he recovered immediately.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, people get hit. Conor hit, Floyd with his amazing 200-pound fighter power, clean uppercut, and Floyd just rolled off the next, hook. So just getting hit that's not telling of anything.
I know, I understand, but I honestly think you would be foolish if you ruled out.
I'm going to reel this back in. So Brendan's bold predictions is GSP goes down, beats Woodley, and then fights Conor.
Yes.
There we go.
I don't know about the Conor because that takes two, right?
Yeah.
But I think Woodley wants the GSP fight, obviously.
Unless Woodley loses.
He's either under the false impression of, or he's trying to sell the fight by saying that George is afraid of him, which is hilarious. George is afraid of everyone, so he's not any more afraid or less afraid of you. And when his teammate and his protege beat you already, that dude needs a reality check. And he's a Duke guy, so he gets a little leash from me. But in a perfect world, that would be how it goes. 3-weight world champ, first ever.
I think Woodley, though, as well, wants that money fight, so he's going to come out and he's going to be outspoken about it as well.
Yeah,
so,
that's why, it could just be gamesmanship on his part. Because all I know of him is to be a good guy, actually.
Yeah.
He just seems to, I don't know, he's like in the press on Ariel's show whining a lot.
I think the problem with your idea there is that I honestly don't think Conor McGregor will be around long enough for that to happen.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Now,
that's why I said it takes two,
It could sort of... the only thing with it is like, let's say Conor was to fight in the interim, but now between now and then, let's say he defends his title, the lightweight title, for example. He defends that, and then he has another hiatus for a while, and then the GSP fight comes around. Like, that'd sell out a stadium.
He has to fight Pacquiao first.
Yeah, after Pacquiao. But no, honestly,
that's not like announced, is it?
No. Fuck no. Jesus, don't do that to us. Don't.
I know.
Don't do that. But no, I just think that maybe the GSP fight could be the final hurrah. It'll be the big payday in MMA, because I think they could sell out. They always talk about the Dallas Stadium and stuff like that. It
would.
Yeah.
That'd be the biggest fight ever.
Yeah, but I think there's
only a planetary distance.
There's only one winner in the fight, and again, it's almost like when Mayweather and McGregor were fighting. You know, people were going, "Oh, Conor has a chance. And you have to go, no. Let's look at this now. Yeah. Let's look at this logically and use our brains that we have. So, like, for me, yes, it's the same sport, but GSP just does what GSP would do in that fight. Moving it on, because we'll end up. Yeah, let's talk about boxing. Did you watch you obviously watched the fights the weekend? What was your what's your thoughts on it? A couple of days out.
I mean, I'm gonna do a breakdown on it, so I'm not gonna get too technical with it. But the reason that I wanted to kind of speak on it real quick is lately I've been going deep in the boxing drawer, just studying old film. I mean, I always have, but more so recently, just because I've been fascinated with footwork variants, and because of a side project that you two are privy to that I have going right now that the world isn't yet. You know, it comes in handy in MMA so much more than I think I even used to think. So I'm rethinking my thoughts on footwork and on movement and on how much boxing acumen could help you as an MMA fighter or coach, really. When you watch Vasyl Lomachenko, you're watching greatness. That dude is the Matrix. He might be the most talented boxer I've ever seen, pound for pound. You know, he's a little dude. He's like, you know, I think he fights at 135 or whatever, but it's like it's Mighty Mouse-ish, but more dominant. I mean, he's breaking dudes. You don't see that in boxing. In his last, I think 3 out of the last 4 opponents have quit on the stool. Yeah. That's insane. And this guy doesn't have Golden Boy. He's not a Canelo, so it's not like a money thing. I don't think there's any dirty politics or anything. He's just breaking dudes' spirits, and he's just a pleasure to watch. Or I could say stronger words, like he's spectacular. He's just spectacular. And I think like an MMA striker or someone that's, you know, say 17 and they're a purple belt in jiu-jitsu and they're on their way, like, go to a boxing gym, like, start learning, getting your footwork in order now, because your MMA coaches may not have you on the right path with that. You know, we always thought of everything as being kind of circular, and chagrin this way to you. I actually am a fan of Conor, believe it or not, and he's one of the first guys that really brought really high-level hands to MMA, and you're seeing it now more with Cody. You're seeing it with Ngannou. You're seeing these boxing friendly. Rose's knockout of Joanna could be completely attributed to her boxing skill, right?
Yeah.
Someone did a breakdown on her that was really good recently. I don't know. But anyway,
I unsubscribed from that channel.
What'd you say?
I unsubscribed from that channel.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
You spineless fuck. So, the point being is, I think the guy's amazing. Guillermo Rigondeaux is a stud, and he didn't even get touched by him. He made him look like an amateur.
Yeah.
I mean, it was absolutely just incredible. I don't have the right adjectives, I don't think, but my advice and the way I wanted to roll that into MMA anyways was for young fighters especially, or coaches or whatever, to start studying the boxing world a little bit. That game's been around a long time. What
do you think, Brendan, is that the one mistake MMA fighters make, that the boxing, obviously footwork, but what's the classic mistake they're making? Are they more so chasing the fighter than cutting off? Is that what you mean, or do you just mean the footwork to create angles to allow you to get strikes off?
Someone like Lomachenko. Go ahead. I can answer that, or do you have something else?
Just a bit as well on that. Do you? I know a lot of people have spoke about this before, but footwork for like wrestling defense as well, because a lot of guys, their wrestling defense isn't necessarily wrestling defense. It's just putting themselves in a position where they can't be taken down.
Right, which is like a backward pivot, for example. right? If you're, I always, and I know, like in my breakdowns, I say this kind of thing ad nauseum. What a lot of people do is when someone's a pressure fighter and they're coming at you at a straight line, you can't move in said straight line. You've got to either pivot out or split step, or there's a million different L steps. There's words and nomenclature I can put to all of it, but it can help your takedown defense, especially if, say, your left foot is forward and someone's shooting on a single. To be able to drop pivot into southpaw, that's going to help, your angle on your wrestling defense. Yeah. So it is footwork, but to your point, it's not just that. Someone like Lomachenko doesn't use, say, like a shelling defense, right? And a lot of times you see this in MMA where when someone gets like clipped a little bit, they'll do this. Yeah. And I learned like that too. Before I trained with like, say, Phil Nurse, when I was just training with like local guys, that was this is your defense. And I always saw a flaw in that, the gloves would always get through whenever sparring was real, et cetera. And I think with someone like Lomachenko, who makes everyone just completely miss via evasion, that with 4-ounce gloves is such more a valuable attribute than any type of blocking you're going to really learn in, say, Muay Thai or, an old school MMA striker. Not to say there's not amazing striking coaches out there. There are. There's a million. There's people better than me. But it's noteworthy. You'd still have to learn different technique to block kicks and low kicks and all that. There's so much to the game and it's growing so fast. Why not just absorb, consume all this information? It's all out there,
Do you think in some ways as well, though, Brandon, like as in the whole thing of, mixed martial arts versus boxing, all that type of thing, in some ways it's almost shrewded that, we're different to boxing, we don't do that. So it was almost, maybe MMA fighters were afraid to afraid might be the wrong thing, but to sort of utilize boxing as in it'd be seen as old-fashioned, while mixed martial arts is seen as new-fashioned. So you don't want to be seen that way.
I wonder, back in the day, obviously, I know what you mean. Like back in the day,
I know what you mean.
Yeah, a lot of guys would be afraid to take not even a boxing stance, but use a lot of those boxing techniques because we seen what happened when a lot of guys done it. But I suppose what you were saying is it doesn't have to be done in that way. Like Lomachenko isn't doing it in that way. You can definitely see. Right. I know that he's trained with him before, but you can definitely see that TJ Dillashaw watches him quite a lot because he does fight like different level. Yeah, I know he trained with him and sparred. I've seen that, and there's obviously different levels there, but you can definitely see the influences there, 100%.
Oh, 100%, because he likes to evade. Yeah. Right. He got clipped maybe because of it. But TJ's a very interesting case study in everything I'm talking about right now, literally. His footwork is from basically a boxing approach with a wrestling background, and he learned it, not till later, not till Ludwig came in the equation, who, took from Boss, who took from, you can go back in your roots to Dutch kickboxing, really, to Deckers. But these are people, they're all people that have one thing in common, although I don't know Dwayne on that kind of a level, but Boss was certainly this way, so, and everyone else, is that they're always trying to be more than they are currently. If you just stay what you are in MMA right now, even George, when we saw him last time out, sorry to bring him up, but he showed some new things. You know what I mean? There was a new wrinkle to his game, and I think in today's game, that's why Demetrius Johnson. We talked about this. Rob, you brought it up pretty recently. Like every time we see him out, the guy's better. Yeah. There's a reason. It's not just he's just he happens to step in this puddle of talent. And next time, it's studying, it's hard work, maybe on Matt Hume's part, maybe everyone's part, I don't know. But I think people need to be open-minded, and that boxing versus MMA bullshit, it's got to go. It's just got to go. I'm not saying MMA fighters should keep going into professional boxing one-timers or whatever. I'm not really for that. But cross-train everything. You cross-train everything else. You know what I mean? Why wouldn't you? It's not going to hurt you. You know what I mean? Just learn from it. Just learn from it. That's all.
No, well said. Beautiful.
UFC Fight Night goes down. Let's talk about some fights coming up. Goes down this weekend. We got Robbie Lawler taking on RDA. Excellent fight. Both fighters have had their ups and downs of late. Currently, RDA is having the ups. This is a big test for him up at welter. What do we think of this one, Brandon?
Did you see odds on that, or at least who's favored? I'd assume it's Lawler, right?
I assume it's Lawler, but
I can check.
Yeah, he can check.
All right, while you're checking, I'll say this: I would think he's the favorite because we've really only seen Robbie's chin get cracked a few times.
Yeah.
The shot that Woodley landed where he throws that shift 2, feint 1 into like a short 4, he does it a lot. He tries a lot, but we've seen him fight kind of non-strikers recently, you know, people he can exchange with. The point being that punch would have knocked out a heavyweight, right? Yeah. It was just a savage punch. So we saw him get knocked out by that. But other than that, his wars with Rory and Condit was an incredible fight. 2 with Hendricks. I mean, it's hard to hurt that guy. So over 5 rounds, he doesn't really slow down. If anything, in the 5th round, he's usually the best.
Yeah, he gets better.
And RDA kind of prides himself on being a cardio guy. His win over Magny was interesting because it was a beautifully timed leg kick into a wonderful submission transition that was like, bang. Now, if something like that happens, because Lawler's not necessarily a jiu-jitsu guy, but he's got good like takedown defense, etc. So then it becomes, you know, a lot of times it'll become nullified, right? If it goes to the ground, obviously it favors RDA, but he's got to get him there, and he's not really a takedown guy. He's shown more like shut-off chin than Lawler has to me, even at a lower weight class. So I think it favors Lawler a lot, although he's got less of an arsenal. And RDA it seems to be improving lately, especially. It's interesting. It kind of depends on where their chins are at, really. I'm curious because they're both going to land, you assume, right? Like I can see if it's a 5-round fight, so I can see a tentative first, but I don't see a tentative fight. You know, no way.
I don't think Robbie Lawler's ever been in a tentative fight.
No.
Robbie Lawler, by the way, is just a slight favourite.
Makes sense.
Slight, huh?
Yeah.
And that's interesting to me. Here's a guy that, I mean, I think he defended at 170 pound for a while too.
Yeah, he did.
He's beaten the best of the best at 170 minus one guy, but Woodley, I guess, right? But the point being, he hasn't had many losses. You know what I mean? No. So for him to only be a slight favorite over a guy that just jumped up and has beaten Magny, and who else did he beat at 170?
Yeah, Tarek Saffiedine.
Remember?
Yeah, Saffiedine. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good win. Yeah. Not Lawler, either of them though. Yeah. You know,
I think
interesting.
A lot of the time with the likes of Robbie Lawler, I think when they lose a fight, especially by knockout, considering the wars he's been in, I think a lot of people just look at him, they're waiting for the fall. And I think he proved people wrong in the last one, but I still think in terms of bookmakers, they look at him, they're like, maybe he's gonna start declining now. This is the time. That's probably what it is.
Mm-hmm.
My track in this one is as you said, Brandon, as in RDA is being hurt in the lower weight classes. Like if you look at the Eddie Alvarez,
exactly,
fight,
beautiful right hook.
Yeah, he really got hurt in that fight. And for me, like, no, Saffiedine is a big hitter, Magny is whatever, but I just don't think either of them are Robbie Lawler. No. And I think this is the
not even close.
Yeah, this is the ultimate test, I think, for RDA at welterweight. Can he hang here? If he can hang with Robbie Lawler's power, you got to go, shit, yeah, he can, holy God. Yeah. But because I was sort of saying, and again, no disrespect to Magny or Saffiedine, is that RDA, he's got these couple of wins at welter. It was similar with Cowboy. Cowboy got a couple, and people go, Jesus, Cerrone looks great at welterweight. And people are saying the same here about RDA. He looks great, but now he's coming up against a real welterweight, a guy who's climbed the mountain,
very skilled,
falling down the mountain and climbing back up again. Yeah. So it's interesting to see here.
One at that too. He's a hefty dude.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
Know, I think he makes a pretty heavy cut.
Yeah, he fought middleweight a couple of times. The last one, not the last one, but the one that he lost, the Woodley fight. Yeah. That's an interesting one to look at because a lot of that kind of came from speed and feints, wrestling feints. The shot that landed.
I know it was it was after 2 minutes, but it was an early finish because they didn't really exchange. It was the first real heavy.
Yeah, Woodley was showing a lot of feints, and it'd be interesting to see if RDA can do that. We haven't really seen him do that quite well. I think he mixes up his wrestling and his striking quite good, but he doesn't really put them together. He has a quick shot, but he doesn't really feint a lot with his takedown. So I don't know if we're going to see more of that. I just don't know. He leaves himself open sometimes as well. And Lawler, I think it could be interesting to see who takes the front foot because both of these guys really like to take the centre of the cage or get somebody at the cage. So it'd be interesting to see who gets the centre. And even if RDA gets the centre, I think Lawler is way better at fighting on the back foot than RDA is. Way better at fighting on the back foot.
RDA does okay moving backward, but he gets stumbly in his footwork. Like, he has great footwork when he's pressing. When he's, this kind of rolls right into what we were talking about earlier with boxing, right? Especially someone like Lomachenko, forward and backward, laterally, you know, pivots, all of that matters. You can't be a straight line guy. And when RDA gets hit, he panics and he moves straight back. And Lawler's, well, he's not gonna be like timid, let's say. He's a finisher, you know what I mean, in the purest sense.
And that's when you brought the Eddie Alvarez
aggressive, man.
Yeah, the Eddie Alvarez one as well, where Eddie was moving backwards and RDA was swarming him, and then he kind of just dropped his left hand, and then the right hook came around. So I could see something similar to that. Like, Robbie's very, very good at going the back foot. It happened in the McDonald fight. For a lot of that, he was fighting off the back foot as well.
Rory was pressing, staying long, which is what every coach, and you know, and he knows I'm a fan of him. Faraz is a brilliant coach, and he had a good game plan. He was staying long, and he was kind of keeping Robbie on his back feet. But he's so explosive that you know, all it takes is him to kind of move his head a little bit in the pocket. How about his fight with Melvin Manuev way back in the day? You ever see that?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Holy moly.
Are you doing that because those leg kicks sounded like gunshots?
Yeah. Jesus Christ, that was
because in MMA most people don't have that kind of a leg kick. You know what I mean? That's that's K1, you know, Badr Hari's sparring partner leg kick, and they sounded like he was gonna die, like his legs were gonna fall off. And all of a sudden he's in the corner, moving his head a little bit, and lands an overhand right. And similarly to what you were just saying about Eddie's knockout of RDA, right? Whereas he was pressing forward and got clipped. The thing is that's what happened with Melvin too. Sometimes people when they're you know, trying to finish, here's the thing is Lawler could do that too, although we haven't seen that happen. Is that some people don't press intelligently. It's like they hurt someone and they get the adrenaline rush. And I don't think it's a conscious decision. I think it's human nature almost, where you have to train yourself not to do that, right? To go overexert, because you're gonna leave openings. The more you put into a punch, the more I'm here. And look at, I'm open as shit, right? Because that's how it's going to look to you if you're not that hurt, you know, and you're a good counter striker. So it could go either way. I just think Robbie's chin is too strong, honestly.
What about the grappling? Because that could be interesting. RDA is an amazing grappler, but Robbie Lawler has been such a tough guy to take to the mat, and especially keep down there in his most recent fights. When he came from Strikeforce, the blueprint was just take this guy down. He's not easy to take down, but once you get him down, he'll resign to himself being on the back. So
Jacare Ray, the Jacare fight was a pretty good study in that.
Yeah, but recently, no.
I agree. He has, but since he's been with ATT, I think he's still with, or no, he might have left them now, but he was with them for a while. And his takedown defense went through the roof. I mean, he doesn't really get taken down now. If anything, he'll take guys down. You know, Koscheck took him down when he first came back for a minute, but he knocked him the fuck out. RDA's not like he's not really a takedown artist. I mean, you could use his Khabib fight, but Khabib does that to everyone. That doesn't really count, you know? I think it would be like how Magny was, right? If it's going to go to the ground, it'll be the result of something else. Not just shooting a double, you know what I mean? It'll be like a trip off the cage, or, you know what I mean? He'd have to be a little sinewy with it.
The only recent one was probably Pettis.
I don't see it really being on the ground much, to be honest. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the only recent one was probably Pettis, where he uses wrestling quite well. But I think Pettis is a different animal, and I know you're friends with Pettis, but he's a different animal in terms of takedown defense. He's a smaller guy than Robbie Lawler too.
It was a game plan thing, you know what I mean? It made sense.
What I like about what Robbie Lawler has done, I'm just looking back through his record, as you burning the candle there, is that he's been in like you look at the Rory McDonald fight, right? The Rory McDonald fight was like just insane, like an absolute one of the greatest fights I've ever had the pleasure of watching. Then he followed that up with the Carlos Condit fight, which was like one of the greatest fights I've ever watched. But like he took, in between that, he took 6 months. Then he fought Woodley. He took 6 months. Then he beat Cowboy Cerrone. He's taken almost 6 months, coming up on just over 5 months. But has
it been that long?
Yeah.
Wow.
So what I like about, like, he's 35 now, Robbie Lawler, but he's not coming out and fighting constantly. And the last couple of fights I mentioned, Woodley, he got knocked out. Condit, an absolute incredible fight. He won the fight. Wrongfully, I thought Condit won. But he had an incredible fight. And then the fight before that,
I
Rory
think Condit
McDonald
won that too, by the way, if that's what you just said.
Yeah, definitely. Condit's the man. But I just feel that he's being clever. He's not rushing back into the octagon, and that I think will last him longer in his career. He's 35 now, Robbie Lawler, but I just think he's gonna have too much for RDA. Be it both, as both these are making excellent points. Both if Robbie Lawler is the aggressor and he's the one coming forward, I think he can finish RDA. And if Robbie Lawler is taking a back step and is getting under pressure and RDA, as you said, starts opening up, Robbie Lawler can land a colossal finish, like as you point out with Melvin. All these, there's many examples of it. And I just think Robbie Lawler, he's going to carry into this fight big welterweight power. Like he made, Rory McDonald did not want to quit against Robbie Lawler. Rory McDonald's body quit.
Insane.
Yeah.
McDonald wanted to get up, and his body literally went.
That was hard to watch as someone that knows him.
Yeah.
That was really hard.
But it was literally Rory McDonald's
that hurt my
body.
soul.
Yeah. Well, that's what Robbie Lawler says. He'll take your soul, and I just think we're gonna witness that this weekend. And I just think he's gonna have too much everywhere, be it on the front foot or on the back foot. And I predict here Robbie Lawler to get the knockout, probably in the later rounds, maybe round 4. Yeah.
One real quick aside, just on the intelligence of Lawler's approach, if we will, right? If that's the thread, he also took a big backseat to hard sparring a few years ago.
Yeah.
And most people close to him say that was when his fighting career really took long strides. Yeah. Like all of a sudden he was exponentially improving, right? So. Noteworthy and a great point, because he's doing that in other facets as well. To not do hard sparring, he's like, I already know how to fight. Yeah. I don't know that that's the best route, but it worked for him, So it's hard to argue with results sometimes.
Yeah, I'm going with Robbie Lawler too, probably by a finish. I think he's gonna hurt him, maybe second or third round, something like that.
Ooh, second.
He's a savage, dude.
He's a beast. Yeah. One thing as well, just before we move on to the next one, I thought his last performance was great to see, because a lot of guys, when they get knocked out, they come back and they're really tentative, but straight away against Cowboy, came out throwing bombs, got a clinch, start throwing knees. So it's good. Like I think that a lot, when I look at guys when they get knocked out and they come back, I'm like, is he going to be afraid to throw a shot? Is he going to be afraid to get into that kind of fight? And he wasn't. He came back and it looked like he never got knocked out.
Oh, so aggressive. Yeah, ridiculous. So, although Cowboy's a slow starter,
that's true.
Doesn't do well against lefties. It was a smart strategy.
Of course.
We'll see.
Yep.
We'll see.
Your co-main event of the evening is Ricardo Lamas taking on Josh Emmett. Of course, Ricardo Lamas was originally scheduled to fight Jose Aldo. Aldo stepped in for the injured Frankie Edgar to take on Max Holloway, and aged 50 years. Ricardo Lamas here, is he going to have too much here for Josh Emmett? You think so off the bat? The only defeats really on Ricardo Lamas' career are to legitimately the best
Holloway,
guys.
Mendes, Aldo.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's not like he's losing to no disrespect, but you know what I mean? He's fought the stiffer competition, I think, is the more PC way of saying it, Brendan. He looked great as well in his last performance. He absolutely rocked the socks off Jason Knight that night and getting an incredible finish. Charles Oliveira before that, and again, this is for me. This is Ricardo Lamas making maybe one final push for the UFC gold.
Yeah, like it's a tough spot for Ricardo Lamas in ways, because if he does somehow lose the fight, that's a bad loss. A guy coming in late notice.
How disappointed is he that he's lost the
hugely
Aldo?
Because this puts him. This is a lose-lose situation. Unfortunately, nobody knows who Josh Emmett is. Josh Emmett, he's kind of just like a brawler. He's he likes to stand up. He has an okay ground game. Gets into a lot of decisions. Had a lot of split decisions. Kind of always fights.
These fights are dangerous, though. You know, I don't have a read on that guy. Do you?
Not really. I've went back and watched some of his fights, but he's been in a lot of decisions. He's been in close fights. He likes to strike. That's really it. He's not even.
He's just definitely a stand-up fighter, from what I could tell. I just watched highlight clips. Just trying to figure out who he was.
Yeah.
I'll admit I didn't know much about him.
I don't think
but
I know
it's so you're so right in the fact that it's lose-lose almost.
Yeah.
You know.
It's a tough spot for him. Really tough spot.
It's weird. If I'm Lamas' coach, I wouldn't even have taken it, but you know.
Yeah.
Well, do you know what
it's winnable, but even if you win, I mean, if he goes out and does a tornado kick knockout 5 seconds in, everyone's gonna go, yeah, but that guy sucked.
Exactly.
To me,
you know what I mean?
It reminds me a little bit when Tony Ferguson's fight fell away and Lando Venata took the fight and everyone was like, who's this guy Lando Venata? And next minute,
although he was a bit of a prospect, but still,
next minute Lando Venata is absolutely lighting Tony Ferguson up. We're going, what the fuck?
And
then Ferguson comes back and wins and going, yeah, well, you were meant to win.
But it probably put Tony Ferguson back a couple of steps as well.
Yeah.
Like Daryl Horcher and Khabib, although Khabib's better. Continue.
He's gonna have too much for me.
Wrestling wise, Ricardo Lamas hasn't been easily. Striking wise, I thought his striking looked great against Jason Knight in his last one. He's getting a lot better.
He's a really good fighter. Like you guys said, he's only lost to really good fighters.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's very good. I don't see any path for Josh Emmett here. Tough.
Who knows?
Who knows? Exactly. Who knows?
Well, he's a huge underdog, so the bookmakers know.
What's the line?
It's 1.3 against 3.2.
I always forget that. I don't even get that. Yeah.
Either do I.
He's under.
You do the plus whatever odds. We do the fraction.
Plus minus.
Yeah. We do the fractional odds, and then Noel picks the decimal odds.
Well,
that nobody knows.
I'll give you the fraction odds if you want to.
Yeah, I'll take the fraction odds. Yeah.
Grand, nice one. Yeah.
What are you doing? Some Rothschild odds over there? God save the Queen. Go ahead.
He's 11-5. Do you know what that means?
No.
It means you have to put 5 on to win 11. Correct?
Why not do it off of a 100-point system like we do? Ours is the same, but we use 100.
It's too easy.
Which is pretty easy to do.
It's too easy.
So someone's minus 1100, someone else is plus 130. It's always based on the 100-point line.
Coming from the guy, you have to either be on an Indian reservation or in 2 fucking cities to put a bet on. Don't tell us. We can gamble anywhere we want. We don't have to go on a vacation.
Going up 10 minutes from my house, dummy.
We're in a fucking casino as we speak.
Are you really?
Yeah, sort of.
I don't believe you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Call a hooker. No?
We don't have them now.
No,
Jesus, don't get crazy. Don't get crazy.
Yeah, but Lamas is going to have way too much. I'll read it in there.
I meant Dan Hooker.
Oh, yeah, Dan Hooker.
He works at a casino somewhere.
Excellent work. I didn't know this fight.
Glover
Teixeira, yeah. Glover taking on Misha Sherganov. Big fight. What do you think of this one, Rep?
I think that Misha, I was really high on.
Me too.
He just happened to run into the freight train that is Volkan Ozdemir, who just has outrageous power.
Definitely
and he clipped him too. He did all right, and then just like he does to everyone, he just lands something and they go to sleep. His hands are this big. It helps. But Misha's really, really talented and really good. So is Glover. Glover's losses have come against pretty high level dudes. Yeah. We'll see. Well, I think Glover's chin after Rumble, especially, Jones and him had more of a war. Rumble put him out quick, and he'll do that. I mean, he can do that to anyone, right? But I don't see that really. I mean, Glover's the type of guy like we were talking about earlier, where if he hurts you, he has a phenomenal submission game and top game and everything, but he's not like always trying for takedowns, really.
No.
I think he's maybe a little less well-rounded, to be honest, but he's way more experienced, too. Here's a guy who fought for the title at 205, and he was like, the next big thing for a little bit, too. Interesting, really interesting. I'd go with youth, I think, normally in this case.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I was the same as you. I was really big on Misha Sirkunov. I still think he's a great fighter. I think his grappling is phenomenal. Really is. His striking is good. Like he has a couple of knockouts, but
he's getting better.
He's getting better, but he's more of like a big puncher right now than a guy who would be really competitive against the likes of a Volkan Ozdemir or maybe even a Glover Teixeira. That's why I'm kind of leaning toward Glover Teixeira, because if you watch that last one against Volkan, he kind of caught him with this short, I don't think it was a right hand or something, behind the ear and dropped him.
Right. Yeah, over the shoulder.
And like that can drop anybody, especially a guy with such power. But Glover has some serious power too, and he throws shots like that. I just don't know if Sirkunov's defense is quite as good. Takedowns, I think if it goes to the ground, even though Glover is really good, even off his back, I think Sirkunov will have an advantage if he gets on top. But I don't see it going there. I think it's going to be a striking match, unless Glover looks terrible after that knockout loss, which can happen. We spoke about Robbie Lawler there. You never know. He could have come back to that Cowboy one and he could have looked awful. So that could happen. But
I forget I was gonna say, did Glover fight someone since Rumble?
Yeah, he's had two. He's fought
Gus
Cannoner and Gus Alexander Gustav.
Gus
knocked him out.
Oh, that's right. So
last one.
Chin, and who was the other one?
Jared Cannonier. He won that one by decision.
Yeah, that guy is. I don't even think that guy's ranked.
No.
I don't know, but okay. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. I just think if it's it starts on the feet, and I think Glover will have the advantage there. I think he's the more technical, polished
By the
guy.
way, my one point of Misha Serkinov, he knows somebody good in the UFC because this is a great fight from coming off the feet. Like, big name.
Yeah, big name.
Great fight from.
Because his last fight was Volkan, right?
Yeah.
But as well, you have to remember that he re-signed with the UFC before his last one. And there was a lot of discussions around. He had a lot of discussions around that, and it took a long time for him to sign. So I assume he's on some decent money. So they got to get the word out.
That's a good point, though. That's a good point. He got kind of gifted a fight.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you, Abraham. I think youth is a beautiful thing. But I just think that at the same time, Rob, like Teixeira, his striking, his boxing is great. Like he's coming out, he's still with the pit, isn't he? He still trains out in the pit, doesn't he, with John Hackelman, doesn't he? Or Hackelman?
I think so.
No, he trains actually kind of close to my house. Like, he's down in Connecticut.
Was he with Hackelman, was he?
Danbury area, but he's close to me.
Yeah.
Cool.
I could drive. I could get to where he trains in like an hour, but he trains by himself. I think he left Hackelman or whatever. The Bruce Lee fan.
So it's just, I just think
that's an inside joke. But moving on.
Bruce Lee fan. Okay, we'll look it up.
We'll Google it.
Yeah, we'll Google that. Serkinov for me, this is a great fight for him. I think he has to get inside the boxing of Glover Teixeira. I think if he stands and trades, what happened with Volkan Ozdemir is going to happen here again, possibly. So I'm going to go with you, though.
Volkan's kind of like special power, though. That's not quite maybe Ngannou, but that's a different Rumble. He sparred with Rumble. I know because I know Henry. I don't want to use that as the litmus test of the guy's chin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know what you're saying, but I think there's levels to the power game. You know what I mean?
And for the love of God, don't touch Volkan Ozdemir's misses.
Yeah.
Whatever you do.
Yeah.
Fucking idiots.
Oh, yeah, that was a bad idea, huh?
Very, very, very bad idea.
A big error in his
part.
Great idea. Great on Volkan, though, from what I hear.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. Well,
it's wonderful. Thank God Florida's got self-defense laws, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with you to this one, though, Rob. I'm going to go with Serkinov. I'm going to get him to get in the range. But I'm not going to be... This sounds like I'm fencing it here. I'm not going to be surprised if Teixeira gets the victory either.
Yeah, no, I'm in the same boat. I generally go with youth, especially Glover, who's been up and down. And even his last one, he hasn't got a knockout in quite a while. But I just think he's going to come back and he's going to get something here. I think he's going to get something. So...
this probably is another standout
good
fight.
Good fight.
Yeah, good fight. Yeah,
I have to say, as much as it's Lawler and RDA main card, this fight is the fight I'm really looking forward to.
The people's main event.
I gotta say, it's Platinum Mike Perry, who
savage.
Against another savage.
Yeah, Ponzinibbio.
Santiago Ponzinibbio.
Ponzinibbio is an absolute killer.
Yeah.
Mike Perry is an absolute killer. And Mike Perry is
Can you imagine this fight sucking? I can't picture how it can't.
I can't.
Ponzinibbio, it's quite weird because Mike Perry has been having huge back and forth with Darren Till.
Yeah.
And Darren Till's going,
yes.
Perry, you realise you've got Ponzinibbio before Anton, so maybe focus on that. But what do we think of this one, gents?
I'm pretty sure Mike Perry has 100% knockout ratio in his fights.
Possibly.
100%.
I will check that right now.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. And he's not even a heavyweight.
100%?
Welterweight.
Yeah, and 100%. All his victories, yeah.
That's insane. That's totally bananas. So... that guy's got some, again, speaking of freakish knockout power, right? And, a little less weight, but that's still nonetheless terrifying, right? He's not the most polished striker by any stretch, but he's very good. And he's just that dude, kind of like a Lawler in a way, in that he's he's got a street fighter swagger to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's got this ready to Cody Garbrandt's like that. There's some guys that, and these guys are all great athletes. I don't mean this to dismiss them. I mean they're fighters. You know what I'm saying? Like that dude's a fucking fighter. And Ponzinibbio is a assassin, but he's aggressive too. It's going to be like just a immovable object, resistible for whatever that is. That kind of fight. I don't know. I can't imagine it not being amazing. If one maybe a little more polished, one a little more raw and powerful. There's a little bit of thunder and lightning there, but they're very similar in the fact that they're going to go out there trying to kill the other guy. That's the similarity.
What with me with this one is, like, as in Mike Perry, Alan Jouban sort of showed the way to be. Yeah. Mike Perry, frustrate him and keep him in range and keep moving and do that. But Ponzinibbio, he's been finished as well. Lorenz Larkin finished him in the first, second round? I think Lorenz Larkin finished. So they're both
Yeah, no shame in that loss, though. No. You know what I mean? Lorenz is a very high-level striker.
So Ponzinibbio is ranked 10th. Mike Perry, crazily, is not ranked at the moment.
At all, yeah.
But this is sort of a coin flip. And if this was in the street, I'd pick Mike Perry because he just seems crazy.
Yeah.
But
I think he is.
Yeah, and I am gonna go with Mike Perry here. I just think he's just got the power, and he's just that guy, And I think he's focused that he wants Darren Till. And to get Darren Till, he has to beat Ponzinibbio. So he's like, I fucking want Darren Till, so I'm going to run through this guy first. Right. Well, I think if Ponzinibbio's way to victory here is to be technical.
Definitely.
Maybe try tire Mike Perry out, take him down, dump him on his ass, tire him out on the floor a bit, get him back up, pull him down again. But I just, again, this is a bit of a coin flip fight for me, but it's landed on Mike Perry when I flip the coin. Yeah. I just think he's just got ridiculous power in that weight class, and he's just
fun too. He's just fun.
He is. He's very fun.
He's got a tattoo on his face that says platinum.
He does?
Yeah, over his eyebrow.
Yeah.
Platinum. I didn't even notice. Yeah. I thought he had like a star here or something. Yeah. That takes a special kind.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a great fight. I think it's the hardest fight on the card probably to pick.
It's a great fight.
Mike Perry, as you said, Mike Perry is not the most technical of strikers, but he's got a lot better. Really, a hell of a lot better, even from the Alan Jouban fight.
He's he's a really good striker. He's just not like a jittery moving elusive guy. That's what when I say like street fight brawler types. I mean, that can mean a couple of things, but in his case, he's like a guy that's like not even worried about moving his head.
No.
He's more worried about moving yours.
Yeah. And that can be a problem though as well.
But look at the knockout of Jake Ellenberger.
Yeah. God. And the one of Alex Reyes, the elbow and the clinch and then the knee.
Oh.
Nasty.
That's a headache for three years.
Yeah. This one's just killing me. I don't know. Like Ponzinibbio, I think, has the style to beat Mike Perry, but he can also get dragged into that fight. We've seen it a couple of times, especially when he got knocked out. And even the Gunnar Nelson one, he was getting hit. Getting hit a little bit by Gunnar Nelson. And if Mike Perry can catch it, man, he can put your lights out. And
yeah, absolutely.
See, I was going with Ponzinibbio. But I was going with him thinking he's going to do that style, the Alan Jouban style, the blueprint. But I really do think...
Is this Rob's fence walk?
Yeah,
right now?
No. I'm coming to an conclusion. I was going to go with that one, but I think he's learned from that. I really do think he's learned from that because I picked against him, I think, the fight after because I thought the same thing was going to happen. Yeah. Not the Jake Ellenberger one.
It would have been if that was the fight after.
Yeah. Was there a late pull-out, the Alex Reyes one? There was a late pull-out there?
No. He was pulled
sure?
out. Thiago Alves was pulled out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Thiago
Alves.
Fought since then. Yeah. I'm going with Mike Perry to land something crazy.
Huh? I just said late pullouts.
Oh, Jesus.
Whatever that means.
was dirty with you.
So, we got so far.
I'm going with Perry because I want him to win.
Yeah.
You're going with who?
Perry.
I want him.
He's just fun, isn't he?
Yeah.
Man.
He's an entertaining fighter, and he backs it up. Yeah, he's not technical. He's a bit of an asshole.
He is technical,
but he's an asshole.
Yeah, but it's fun. That shit is fun sometimes. I don't want everyone to do that.
I can't wait for his weigh-in.
Yeah, but his weigh-ins are deadly. Like he always gives, and that's him just starting the mind games, getting you to come out aggressive towards him. But when Darren Till beat Cowboy, he was up in the cage as if it was madness between the two of them. And you have to fight Ponzinibbio.
He's a bro. That's what he is. He's a bro. He's a bro.
Just let me bang, bro.
He 100% wore Affliction and Tap Out t-shirts.
Yeah.
100%.
I still have a few of those.
I'm sure you do.
Do you know what he
I
has?
have one.
Do you know what he has as well? He has,
Don't wear it,
you know that chain in your jeans?
Yeah.
He definitely has. You know a chain in your jeans? Like, he definitely has that. From his front pocket to his back pocket.
Yeah.
I like the orange Yankee hats with the flat brims, like here.
Yeah.
Those are.
He rocked a
nice
badass Mohican the last time.
Yeah, and what was he doing? The chicken. He was doing the chicken dance with the and the rooster.
He's out of his fucking mind.
He is. He's crazy.
Absolutely nuts. And that's his speech, wasn't it? In the cage was like, "Don't get a tattoo on your face until you've reached your dreams."
Yeah,
or
something like
wasn't
that. Yeah. Kids, don't
He
get a
said
tattoo.
that on the mic?
Yeah, he said kids. Well, not on the mic. He said it as they were going to break. He said, "Kids, don't get a tattoo on your face until you reach your dreams," or something like that. Solid
He's out of his
advice.
fucking
Solid
tree.
advice.
And it's his missus in his corner with him as well.
His missus is always in his corner going mental. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
How can you not like this guy? He's a character, man. He's like a fucking movie character.
If you're fighting him, I'd say you'd hate him.
Yeah.
I'd say you'd fucking hate him.
But that's why I think the tail Perry fight is absolutely.
Oh yeah, I'd love that.
But it's weird, like Ponzinibbio is legit.
Yeah,
like,
like,
I don't know. I just think Perry's got that.
honestly,
special
one side of me
mad.
thinks Ponzinibbio's going to go out and just not clown him, but he's going to just land so many shots, and Perry's going to be chasing him. Part of me says that, but I'm going to go with the Perry that goes in and just lands something crazy, like a crazy elbow or something. Beautiful. Yes, sir.
Brendan, pleasure talking to you as always, my man. And come here.
I love you guys more than I love life itself.
When are you going on Joe
Excellent.
Rogan's MMA show?
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
That's gotta happen soon.
Yeah, that's
surely.
got to happen.
What do I ask him?
No, he'll ask you.
It takes. Yeah, with Joe, trust me, the trick is to not ask.
Yeah.
So who knows?
That's what I've been doing wrong.
No.
Damn it.
Hey Joe, fly me over to
Hey
LA.
Joe, fly me.
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
moon.
I don't. I'll tell you what. Come February,
Yeah.
Crypto messages.
Crypto.
Yeah, but I have to be. I wish I could tell the world right now.
When
but I
can you tell the world of the great news?
Probably the day of.
It's like you're having a baby or something.
It's been discussed 100 times because we're trying to figure out how to do that, the right way. Because right now it's a bad idea for both of us. Make sense?
Now we'll stop with the cryptic clues because people
I know,
what the people will be
I
in the
hate
comment
doing that,
section
and I
right
don't
now.
like keeping anyone in the dark.
People will be in the comment section
up,
going, what's Dorman talking about? What's he talking about? What so people will be commenting.
Yeah, I
and
know,
asking.
and I can't. I just can't.
No. Yeah. Can't even.
But it's great news, so just be patient.
Yeah.
It's great news.
It's great news.
It was great talking to you, Brendan.
Yeah. It was fun.
As always.
As always. A friend from across the water. Brendan, I will talk to you during the week because we do, but I will talk to you on the show next week.
Okay, sounds good, fellas.
Peace.
See you next time.
Cheers.
Take care of me, man.
Later.
Bye-bye.
We're not saying he's the best, we're just saying there's nobody better, Brendan Dorman.
I also didn't cut him off that time.
Yeah, and it is great news for Brendan. We're savvy to the news.
Yeah.
But
Excellent.
we obviously can't say. But we are taking payments for the news. If you message the obviously
Send it to
Fight
this
Talk,
PayPal
yes,
account.
you will get the news. We will send it
We'll
to
accept
you.
1 Bitcoin.
No problem. Let's talk about something mad, Rob, that went on in the weekend. Wasn't in the weekend roundup. Daniel Movahedi,
Yes.
the most controversial referee in the game. I'm convinced he gets a Reddit account, and all of a sudden every week something's happening. The gentleman, Daniel Movahedi. You got to talk about something I've not really seen, but when I watched that, I thought, fucking fair play to you, Dan.
Yeah.
Your man was being a dick.
He was being a dick, wasn't he?
Yeah,
like,
big time.
Just being a dick.
Movahedi. We'll get Dan fill you in on what happened, etc.
Yeah. No spoilers until the next segment.
But let's get him on. The gentleman, the beauty, the silk-voiced, devilishly handsome Daniel Movahedi. So welcome along to Referee's Corner with the gentleman, Daniel Movahedi. You'll see Dan up at the top. So Dan, welcome to your Referee's Corner.
Thank you.
He's in the corner.
You had a bit of a weird one this weekend, Dan, at Fight Star Championships 13. You were refereeing a fight between Stelios Theocharas taking on Hassan Nero Kilzi. And we're going to hit play on it, and then we'll get you to talk about it. So basically, it looks like Telecoris is going for the takedown. And
The cage grab.
Hessian grabs the cage. You have a word with him.
Yeah.
You're having a good old stern conversation.
I'll let you guys watch out and I explain exactly what I was saying.
And he pushes you there.
Okay.
You walk after the cage after him.
Make sure that,
You turn him around and
Like,
he pushes you away from him and
yeah.
you wave it off.
Yeah, exactly that. So what I mean, look, as we always say, this is what you guys are seeing is only a section of what happened leading up to that situation. So I'm going to take it back to round number 1 and earlier in round number 2. In round number 1, he threw a groin strike, knee to the groin. Obviously, gave Stelios, to Stelios, so I gave Stelios up to 5 minutes to recover. I said to Hassan, look, be aware how you're picking your knees, please. It was accidental, etc. Let that one go. Then literally a couple of minutes later, same thing. He threw a knee straight up the middle again to the groin, pulled it to one side, gave Theo his up to 5 minutes. And in my head, I was like, look, I'm going to still put that down to accidental, but you need to start picking your shots if think about how you're going to be placing your knees, okay? And I don't want any more fouls coming from you, right? So he was like, yeah, okay. Like, you know, very, very quick, like, yeah, whatever. Anyway, okay. So round 2 starts, Stelios goes for, puts the pressure on, tries to go for a takedown. And again, that angle of that footage doesn't do it no justice, but exactly where the commentators were, they could see it as well. And you can hear Dave Letheby and Dean Midhat saying, look, he's grabbing that cage with force, you know. And he was grabbing that cage. So I warned him, let go of that cage, because Stelios was trying to pull him and get a double leg takedown. So let go of that cage. I slapped his hand. He still wouldn't let go. Said to him, let go of that cage. And he still wouldn't. So obviously I called time, sent Stelios to his corner, to a neutral corner. And as I was explaining to Hassan, that look, you've left me no choice. I've had to warn you about 2 different fouls, 3 times with the knees and you holding the cage and you're preventing him from getting a takedown into a dominant position. You leave me no choice with deducting a point from you. And then, of course, he just turns around and goes, oh, fuck off, like that. And for me, you know, you can't be talking to a referee like that, whether it's me, anybody else in the cage. You got to take what's given to you. If there's a point deduction, that's where you got to go with. You got to deal with the consequences. So you see me, I walk over to him to try to explain to him again, listen, I'm deducting a point for extra. Then he told me, oh, you fucking idiot, fuck off. I was like, do you know what? Excuse me, I'm not going to have this. Waved it off. And then again, what you guys don't see, obviously the footage, you kind of see me saying to him, look, just get out of the cage. Don't even want you in here. Get out of the cage. And the thing that really bugged me was afterwards he squared up to me, telling me not to touch him. And I said to him, well, then get out of the cage. You're disrespecting me. Get out of the cage, etc. And the thing that really bugged me was the fact that his cornermen were just sitting there. You know, I said to them, come and get him out. And they were like, well, why did you deduct a point? Oh, why did you DQ him? Sorry. I was like, well, clearly you just saw how he acted towards an official. Surely you don't see this as acceptable. You know, whether you agree with it or you don't agree with it, you come and calm your fire down, get him out. Because like I say, and I'm not trying to gun this fire out, but it happened last time apparently on Fight Style Championships again. He had the same run-in with Rich Mitchell. Rich DQ'd him for a downed opponent. He kneed the guy to the head. And when Rich DQ'd him, apparently he got the arse about that as well. So he has got a bit of a history of throwing his toys out the pram, so to speak. But yeah, and that's what pissed me off with the cornerman. If at the end of the day, this guy's here representing the sport, representing the sport of MMA. People, especially if he's fighting for a good championship fight, especially on Fight Style. Fights are a good promotion. Got big things coming up. How can you call yourself a champion if that, if you wanted to be a champion, if you're acting like that, And it just didn't sit well with me. And yeah, of course, I had no choice but to DQ him. Just the fact that he laid, hands on me not once but twice. All I was doing is trying to hold his wrist to bring him in the centre of the cage, to lift his arm up, deduct 1 point, and that's it to the judges.
And
so that's it.
Has the promoter said anything over it? Have you got many people messaging you about it, or fellow referees? Obviously, you don't have to name.
I spoke to the promoter straight afterwards. Very, very understanding. Raj Singh, is a very great promoter of Fight Star, and he was like, man, I said, look. Because obviously, it happened last time, and whatever the situation was, he managed to get back in there again to fight again. I think that I gave him a second chance, whatever the reason. But I said to him, look, man, you can't have someone like this representing your show. Whether he sells tickets, doesn't sell tickets, he's got good followers on Twitter, whatever it may be. You can't have someone like that on your show. Because if they can't handle a point deduction, how are they going to handle, if the judges don't give a decision to him, or any other situation that's in there. How are they gonna handle that? That doesn't look good, and it was live on TV as well.
One thing, Dan, you always say that I always notice you say now. You know when you step in and you stop a fight, take away from the moment that just happened, but when you step in to stop a fight and a fighter jumps up and reacts and sort of goes, oh, and you go, well, why didn't you conserve that energy to try and get out of the position you're in? So in this way, like Hassan, I don't know this guy from Adam, like I just don't know the guy, but like he has fouled 3 times, so he had 2 groin strikes. Fair enough, he put them down as accidental, but grabbing a cage, it ain't accidental. You know what you're doing. You're aware of it. It can be a reaction sometimes, I'd imagine. Like, it's just a natural reaction to do it. But if you're fouling and you're visually fouling, your job as a referee is fighter safety, to make sure that the rules are being followed in the cage. And then also, when you're deducting a point, you're following a rule set. So he's had 3 strikes. In baseball, you're out. So with this, he's getting a point taken off him. So in a way, you know, he's reacting to something that was his own fault. Similar to when you stop a fight, when he jumps up in front of you, you go, well, why didn't you save that energy to get out of the fight, or out of that position? So this, in a way, is similar. Like, he's getting pissed off at you for his errors.
Yeah. And you know, like I said, it just didn't sit well with me. And obviously, on the back of my head, I knew, obviously, they told me the history that happened, what happened before as well. That was at the back of my head. But the fact, like I said, if you're going to turn around and you're going to push me and tell me to fuck off, that definitely doesn't sit well with me. It's like, imagine, like, the most recent one that I can remember, Daniel Perez, when I took a point away from his extended fingers, correct?
Yeah.
Now, you imagine if he acted like that, how that would have gone down. He said he knew he made a mistake. He was like, okay, I'll deal with the consequence, and he went on and he won the belt. End of. You know, he done what he had to do, and that's the kind of guys you want representing your sport, not someone who's going to be effing and blinding. And bearing in mind, and I mean, I know you guys saw it, and so, you know, you posted it on Twitter, on Reddit. You know, someone was in the actual crowd, and they could, you know, there were kids there as well. You know, watching, or families, people with their girlfriends, etc., and going there. And that's not how you want someone representing your sport. I hope, for Hassan's sake, it goes back. You know, not that I expected, but at the very least, I expected his corner to come back and say, look, ref, or even not to me, to one of the other officials or to the promoter, and go, look, really sorry how he acted. Nothing's been said, you know, so whatever, you know. But I hope he goes back, he addresses the issues with you know, he's having a bad day, etc., and he realises his mistakes, and he does come back, and then hopefully he'll get to fight again.
One point I would say, Dan, is in no other sport, and I don't know why it should be accepted in mixed martial arts. If that was football, and you were to be abusive to a referee, and the way he shrugged you, I know it wasn't that aggressive of a shrug, but he said then, when the camera's footage ends, he's squaring up and stuff. Like, one stands out to me, you're probably too young to remember this, but Paolo Di Canio shrugged the referee in football, and the referee fell over, and Paolo Di Canio got obviously a big ban from it. And it's the same in any sport.
Right,
like,
Jason Hoy. Remember Jason Hoy pushed the referee after the...
Roy Nelson playfully kicked Big John McCarthy.
Yeah, and he got suspended and a fine.
So it's not like you're in there to basically look after the fighters, but as well to make sure that the rules are being followed. He's broke the rules, and you're just, you know, you're doing the next part. You're the referee, you're the umpire. The same way a linesman puts his flag up and the ball goes out of play, you're saying this is the like if a footballer's taken down in the box, the referee blows whistle, it's a penalty. So you're given the penalty, and you know, I have to say, Reddit, you are an absolute hero in the land of Reddit. I'm seeing things like, why can't all referees be Movahedis? And it's all, you know what I mean, you're getting blown up on Reddit with your great work.
Saying that though, but say on that point, I think any other ref would have done that. So you know, speaking of Rich Mitchell, Rich was like, I would have straight, because like I said, I went to go and say to him, look, let me explain to you. He's, you know, on that first shove when he pushed me and told me to fuck off, most referees would have just gone, sod this, DQ, done straight away. You know, whereas I was trying to go and give him a second chance, and then done it again, and that was it, you know. But hey ho.
Because you knew that he had this in his past, did you have to go bebeforehand and say it to him and say, we don't want no nonsense like this, or did you just think, I assume he's not going to do it again?
I didn't say that, because I think he'd already spoken to Raj, because I said the referee in question from his last fight. There was obviously Rich, who was there, Rich Mitchell. So taking the conflict of interest or anything else around that, Raj wanted me to referee it. You know, so there wasn't no anything involved or any decision. If Rich made during this fight, they would be like, oh, it was because he didn't like you last time and he DQ'd you last time. So take all of that out of the equation. So I think he knew that. I knew anyway what had happened. So I was in there as a neutral person, and of course he acted the way he acted. So
that said, going forward now, if you and Richard are both there at the next show, is there an issue with him being refereed? Is there something there that you can't referee?
I would like to think, at least for the next couple of shows, if we are officiating it, that he's not allowed back for at least the 2 shows. Like you said, something needs to be put in place for this fighter that. Not any fighter that they can't just do that and expect to come back again without, you know, a minimum at least have missed 1 show, you know. But that being said, if we are the only 2 referees there and we only have to, and we're the only guys who can referee it, we're professionals. We treat every fighter as A and fighter B. You know, there's nothing that what happened previously will play into that. For the fighters, it may do, but that's their problem. We got a clean conscience and we can go forward.
Before we let you go, is that something that's taught to referees? Saying, I know Herb Dean has a kind of referee school, the course and stuff like that. Is that something that's taught to referees, keeping control of the cage or the octagon or whatever? Because you have 2 guys who are alpha males in there, and you got to keep control of what's going on. Yeah,
as I don't want to sound too much like I do, but if you don't show who's, so to speak, boss in that cage. If you haven't got, the minute you show you haven't got control of any situation, whether it be from fouls or how fighters talk to each other or cornermen shouting out abuse, etc., they'll pick up on it and go, "Oh, this referee's soft. I can get away with X, Y, and Z." You know, and then before you know it, everything just, you know, goes out of hand, and then that's it, you know, and you end up in sort of 1 bad situation, end up in like 5 bad situations.
Yeah, you can take it back to the whole McGregor versus Goddard thing where McGregor's running around the cage and you have to keep control of that as well. There's like loads of different situations, I suppose.
No, got to give it to you, Dan. Credit to you. Great work as always. And thanks a million as well.
Well done for doing your job.
Yeah, well done for doing your job. But, thanks a million for coming on and letting us know about it as well.
Are you guys in Newcastle, or are you covering the show?
No.
But you covering the show or not? Like from social media wise, or?
Yeah.
Depends.
Your flights will be cancelled anyway. It's all snow over here apparently up north. So I'll be interested if I can even get up there.
I don't even think there's a flake outside. But no, I'm not too sure. I know they're airing
the main card.
Yeah. Just unfortunately too close to Christmas for me.
Of course.
But But no, Dan, I had to give it to him. A great work, and like I said, people are blowing you up. And these are people who don't know you on Reddit. They're only looking at your body of work, and you know they're absolutely loving what you're doing. So
appreciate that, and hopefully I'll get to be with you guys next Monday as well for the final show before Christmas.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Christmas falls on a Monday, but that won't stop me and Rob.
Christmas morning.
Yeah. Welcome along to obviously Fight Talk episode Santa Claus.
Liam in the corner.
Listen, gents, have a good evening. Again, appreciate you guys having me on, and thanks to everyone else for the support. And
great work, Dan.
Cheers.
Cheers, buddy. Take care.
See you later. Bye.
There, Daniel Movahedi. Weird situation for him at the weekend, but as Dan does, he dealt with it brilliantly.
Again, handle it brilliantly,
obviously, Fight Talk episode 93 is now in the books, but before we let them go, a shout out to Fight Star Ireland, the fighter's choice, everything you need under two roofs. MMAmix.com. They're obviously good folks. Come on, you know it. They're with obviously Fight Talk. And feelsupreme.co.uk. Receive 10% off all products from the Feel Supreme website using air code Fight Talk at the checkout. It's ours. It's been wonderful. It's been magical. It's been emotional.
It has.
Brendan Dorman needs to get off GSP's dick. This has been 93. Peace.